It's been about 48 hours since Google dropped Gemma 4. In AI years, that's basically ancient history. But surprisingly, developers aren't currently losing their minds over some new remote access Trojan hiding in their node modules. No, this time the chaos is justified. It's just Google finally deciding to share their homework with a license that actually makes sense. Typically, when a new model drops from the big tech players, it's usually packed with corporate confidence. Most of the time, it's just a way to tell us they're 4% faster at speaking a new flavor of TypeScript. But this doesn't feel like a marketing team doing damage control with a changelog. For the longest time, Google has been the king of the open weights trap. We had Gemma 2 and 3, which were capable, but the licenses were basically borrowing a car that only turns left. You couldn't use it to compete with them, and you had to dodge a dozen weird commercial clauses. But Gemma 4, it ships with a straight-up Apache 2.0 license. If you don't speak legalese, that basically means do whatever you want. Modify it, sell it, bake it into your weird niche hobby, or use it for enterprise software. No strings attached. No, don't compete with Google trapdoors. It finally puts them on the same playing field as Alibaba's QN or Meta's Llama. But a free license doesn't matter if the model is garbage. Luckily, it is not. Google dropped 4 models with some creative naming. First, we have the workstation models, the big boys. This includes a 31 billion parameter dense model and a 26 billion parameter mixture of experts, or MO. Then we have the edge models, the E2B and E4B, which are tiny enough to run on your phone or a Raspberry Pi. That 26B MO model is where things get wild. It has 26 billion parameters total, but only 4 billion are active at any one time. It uses a massive 128 experts. Imagine a company with 128 departments, but when you ask a question, you only route the call to the 4 or 5 people who actually know the answer. You're getting the smartness of a heavy 27 billion parameter model, but with the speed and compute cost of something tiny. It fits on consumer GPUs, meaning you can run it on your gaming rig without melting your power supply. Then there's the 31B dense model. This one is built for quality over speed, and it features a massive 256K context window. That's like feeding the model an entire novel or a massive codebase, and having it actually remember the beginning by the time it gets to the end. But the real star of the show is the multimodality. Usually multimodal means a text model with a vision encoder bolted on like a sidecar on a motorcycle, or you're expected to run Whisper separately for audio and feed the text into the LLM. It's clunky, it's duct tape and prayers. Gemma 4 has this stuff baked in from the start. The smaller edge models, the E2B and E4B, support native audio. You feed it audio and it just understands. The audio encoder is 50% smaller than the previous generation. You can run transcription and translation services on device instantly, no middleman. It makes those Jarvis-style voice assistants actually feasible in your own garage. On the vision side, they finally fixed a massive pet peeve: aspect ratios. See, older models would get confused and just squish tall screenshots or wide documents, but Gemma 4 handles native aspect ratios the right way. Plus, it supports interleaved multi-image inputs. You can feed it a bunch of frames and ask it to reason across all of them, which honestly is close enough to a video model for most agentic workflows. And speaking of agents, we're officially in the agentic era. Gemma 4 has function, calling, and thinking capabilities built right into the architecture. You can toggle thinking on or off, enabling that chain of thought reasoning we've seen in models like O1 and DeepSeek. It breaks the problem down, plans it out, and can even reason across modalities like looking at a chart or listening to an audio clip's tone. For the Android devs, these edge models are the foundation for Gemini Nano 4. If you build an app with Gemma 4 today, it's going to run natively on flagship Pixel and Galaxy phones later this year. Now, benchmarks can be fudged, but Gemma 4 is currently going toe-to-toe with the QN family and holding its own against larger proprietary models. So, is there a catch? Of course. Only the small models have native audio support right now. The big workstation models are text and vision only. It's a bit of a bummer, but likely a compute trade-off. Is Gemma 4 perfect? No, but it's the most exciting thing to happen to local AI this month. It's the Apache 2.0 license, the efficient MO architecture, and the fact that we have real reasoning on hardware we actually own. So that's the deal for today. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Drop a like if you found this useful. I do quick coverage of AI news exactly as it happens. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to stay in the loop. See ya!